do here is we are going to set up our inbox. Okay. I'm going to start with an email. Now, for those of you that don't know, you can connect this to any email as long as you know the IMAP and the SMTP settings. If you don't know what that is, it's basically whenever you get an email, it has URLs and ports and all kinds of stuff. And we're going to do that together so you can set up your own email. Now, there are multiple ways of doing this. Okay. I'm going to show you the most common way. Okay, because it works for all of them. There's other ways where you can do an OAuth with Gmail and stuff like that. We'll cover that in another training. But I am going to be setting up a Gmail, and for the most part, it'll be very similar to any other email provider, just like Microsoft and so forth. Okay, so I am in the chat section here, and I'm going to add an inbox. Okay. And when we add an inbox, I like to use the email inbound and outbound. Okay. This is the most common one. You could do the Google, but it's for outbound only. And there's a trick to get inbound in there. We're going to cover that in a different training, but I'm going to choose the inbound and outbound. Okay. And we're going to give this a channel name. Now I'm just going to use support at agency remix or flowtrack.com. And then I am going to actually set up an agency remix email because I wanted to show you the back end and I have access to that. So this is the email that we are going to connect. Okay. It happens to be a Google Workspace email, and we're going to create a channel. Okay. These are the agents. So every user that has a login to this particular system will show up here, and you want to be able to assign agents so that they can see it. In our case, since this is just a test system, I'm the only user, so it would say Danny Rios, even though I put Dan System 1, just so I know what system I'm working in. And I'm going to click Add Agents, and this is how we can do forwarding, but since we're doing a true SMTP, we're good. I'm just going to skip it. And there are more settings. I'm going to kind of fly over it. You can add an avatar, which is the little image. So you can kind of brand, I guess, inside the thing, or if it was your email, you can put your picture. I tend to leave it alone. I use the inbox name, which you saw was already set up. I can't put the ad in there or else I would put it in there. And then there's no channel greeting. There's none of this other stuff. This is more useful on the inbox side. I'm going to keep on going. You can see some of the same settings. Business hours don't apply, but you're going to see this again. And this is where we are going to set up the IMAP and the SMTP. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to enable IMAP is for incoming mail. So it'll check that. And SMTP is for outgoing mail. And these are the settings that we need to get. Okay. So what you're going to want to do is probably do a search for your IMAP and SMTP settings for your provider, or talk to who provides your email and ask for those settings, and they'll be able to provide it. Now, I kind of know these by heart, but if I didn't, in Google's case, I would do Gmail IMAP settings, and looks like support is right there. And we will, let's see here. Here's our IMAP. Looks like we do have to go in to the email. Let's follow these directions. And we have to go to the settings. I know mine is already on. We're going to see all settings. And you see where we have forwarding, POP, and IMAP. You want to make sure you enable that, or else it won't work. All right. It's kind of a security feature. All right. So that is on. And these are the settings we're looking for. You see how it has IMAP server? It's imap.gmail.com. So let's go back over here. We're going to paste that in. The port is 993. The login is going to be the actual address. And then the password by default is not going to work. I know my password, and I'm going to type it in just to show you. but it's because there's security. See, it says invalid. It really is valid, but Microsoft and Gmail, depending on who owns the real account, can disable apps from being able to connect. So you need to turn that on. And if you have a customer that is not an administrator, there's a reason why they haven't been given permission. You know, there's nothing we can do about it. But since I own this account, what I'm going to do is I already have it enabled. Okay. And when I am in my email, to be able to, we need to create a one-time password just for this instance. In other words, what Google wants to do for security is for this password to be unique. That way, if it's ever compromised, you can just delete that one password and they don't have access to everything. Okay. Microsoft works the same way. And so here we go. The way to get to where we need to go is you click on your name and you want to manage your Google account. Okay. You can also do Google account and do a search and just find your way. And we're going to go to the security area. Okay. And what we want to do is we want to turn on a password just for this app, but we cannot do it unless there's a two-step verification on. So I'm going to click to turn it on, and every app can do it a little bit differently. And here I got to put in my real password. Give me permission. Oh. And it wants me to say, oh, you know, turn on, you know, the text notification, whatever. I'm just going to leave it on my phone. And I'm going to go through here. Let's do, all right, let me see if I can, I'm going to use one of my throwaway Skype numbers and hit send. And let me see if that comes in already here. 96138. It's confirming it's me. And now 2FA, I can turn it on. So now that it's on, I can go ahead, and there's other ways you can secure it. I am looking for app passwords. Now this is here. So I'm going to create an app password. I'm just going to call it FlowTrack. And I'm going to generate this one-time password. And for those of you, I'm going to go and delete this when I'm done here. All right. So now we're done with this. I got my password. And I'm going to put it here. I'm going to hit update. And voila. Settings updated successfully. So now this is going to work. All right. Enable SSL is already on. Now let's turn on the SMTP. And it's going to be the same thing. Now I know these settings, smtp.gmail.com. I can't spell. The port is going to be, usually it's 465 or 587. I'm going to paste the password I just had here. Put the email. And then I don't recall if we need to put that there. And let me go back and look at these settings over here to make sure I forget if it's TTLS or SSTLS. I think it's S. Oh, it doesn't matter. You can do 465 for SSL. Yep, it all looks good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the 587 port and leave it on the start TTLS. Right, login. And I guess we do have to put the domain in. There we go. Now we got our button. We're going to hit update. Settings updated successfully. And like that, we submit it. We have our email in here. Okay. So now when we go to our inboxes, you could see we have created one email. And I'd like to point out that only assigned agents can see this. So you can actually prevent other users from seeing your email if you so choose. Okay. Now we're done. That's email. You know, you can connect as many email inboxes as you want. You can assign them to different people. Are there other ways? Absolutely. Okay. But I just want to show that way. The other way I'm just going to talk about it is you can use the Gmail app. And then what you do is you go into your Gmail and you get to create a rule in your Gmail account to forward either some or all emails to an email provided in here. We'll do that in another training. Don't worry about it. I think this is the easiest and most straightforward. Okay. And since we're making really good time, I'm going to go ahead and say that how to create an SMS box. I see a question in the chat. It's already there. When you create, I don't have one here, but when you have a phone number, which we don't have here, and you enable SMS and MMS after the 10 DLC approval, you will see that inbox here. Okay. And then don't forget, you can assign it to different agents and so forth. Okay, that's where the collaborators are. So if Lisa had a login here, I could not let her see it by not putting her name here, or I can do that, or I can just add her to it, and then she'll be able to see. All right. So that's how we do an email box. Now let's do a chat. It's a very, very similar process. The difference is we don't have to get any IMAP or SMTP. All right.